Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a magnetic excursion update Sunday, July 27th, around 10 p.m. Mountain Time 2025. The 11th day of the eruption at Iceland continues in spectacular fashion. After the show, we will live stream this footage on Rumble over at Oppenheimer Ranch Project. Buckle up, a lot to talk about, and keep calm. It's boom time. Well, we've all heard about the Michigan Walmart stabbing by now. The suspect has been identified as police are seeking terrorism and assault charges for the rampage. Authorities say 42-year-old Bradford James Gill will face 1 count of terrorism and 11 counts of assault with intent to murder, which means this scumbag is going to jail forever. And, well, he looks miserable. And now on to the weather. Forecast first alert for the Twin Cities for 100-degree heat index today and strong thunderstorms tonight. And prayers are pouring in for Minnesota on Sunday. The National Weather Service has issued multiple serious tornado warnings for the state of Minnesota Sunday afternoon, as heavy storms have impacted the area. Major storms, including strong thunderstorms, serious wind, and spotted tornadoes are hitting the northern U.S. state through the day on Sunday. We'll have that full update in a second. Here is the severe storm risk overnight, and then dangerous heat on Monday for Wisconsin. A cluster of strong, severe thunderstorms will develop over north-central Minnesota by early this evening, tracking southeast across the local area overnight. Damaging winds will be the main threat. Locally, heavy rain could also occur. The Monday morning commute will be impacted for some. Even more heat will pool across the area post the passing storms early Monday morning, with heat indices for Monday afternoon expected to top 100 degrees. And severe storms to rumble across the central and eastern U.S., and it's going to be hot early in the week. Let's take a look at that map. Take a look. This is your early week pattern, and we'll jump over to Tornado HQ Live for the severe weather map. There are currently 9 severe weather warnings. The most recent 3 minutes ago in South Dakota, Coddington, Duell, and Hamilton counties. In Minnesota, Lyon County. In South Dakota, Gerald and Sanborn counties. And in North Kakalaki, Cumberland, and Harnett. And you can see those storms popping up there south of Washington on the East Coast. Check out Tornado HQ for all of your live severe weather updates. And now the full forecast. We've got severe weather and flash flooding from the upper Midwest to the mid-Atlantic as heat continues in the central and southeast U.S. Scattered severe thunderstorms are expected tonight across parts of the upper Midwest to the western Great Lakes. Additional severe storms will also be possible in parts of the northern plains, central Appalachians, and mid-Atlantic. Extreme heat is expected to intensify across much of the southeast and Tennessee valleys, continuing through much of the week. So there is the forecast, and a quick look over at the GFS model. Oh, let's move that back. So those are the storms popping up now over Minnesota. In 3 hours, they will move over to northern Wisconsin, and then they'll be done by morning. So here is your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Nothing significant looking to develop. Just normal stormy activity, which is much needed, especially in these heat areas. These storms are going to bring quite a reprieve to the sweltering heat. Scientists warn that the Tintina Fault could unleash a major earthquake. This fault, once thought to be dormant, lies in the Yukon region. Once thought dormant for over 40 million years, the fault may be, in fact, active and capable of 7.5 magnitude earthquakes or greater. And there have been some earthquakes happening on the fault just this year, 3 and 4 magnitudes. Over the past couple of decades, there have been a few small earthquakes in that magnitude. But according to a new study, that's because this fault moves in phases. It builds up pressure for tens of thousands of years and then releases. And here is the paper coming out the 15th of July large surface rupturing earthquakes, and a greater than 12 kiloyear open interseismic interval on the Tintina Fault in the Yukon. So if you're up in this region and you want to learn more, all of the links will be below. Worldwide volcano news. We've got Kirishima first on the list. Possible eruption today. Dukono to 13,000 feet. Sakurajima on the list. 6,000 foot puff there. Sangay to 20,000 feet. Ibu to 7,000 feet. Semaru, who knew, now you do, 15,000 foot blast there. Liwotolo to 6. Nevado de Ruiz, volcanic ash reported. Volcanic ash reported at Raventador as well. Dukono to 15,000. Sangay, possible volcanic ash. Santaguito to 14,000. Liwotolo to 6,000. Ibu to 7,000. Semaru to 15,000. Holy macaroni. And wrapping up the list, Sakurajima with a 6,000 foot puff. A quick look over at space weather. Not any significant sunspots, just pinpricks, low-level flaring. 3-day geomagnetic forecast is a dud as the supposed 3 coronal mass ejections headed our way. And one of the best astrophysicists, Tamitha Skov, gets an F, as well as every other solar forecaster. Nothing happened. KP wasn't budged. In fact, the initial effect was the reverse of a storm. It quieted everything down. So don't believe the hype. It's a sequel. Get ready for a sky show, folks. The Delta Aquariids meteor shower peaks this week. It's the most beautiful meteor shower of the year. Find out why you should watch the Delta Aquariids and read the article. Well, the Delta Aquarid meteor shower is an annual celestial event that will captivate sky watchers this week, particularly between July 28th and the 30th. While many meteor showers peak on a single night, the Delta Aquariids are more prolonged of a spectacle, offering plenty of opportunities to witness the stunning display. As the sky clears and the moon sets by midnight, even the faintest meteors will become visible. So best sky watching is after midnight, when the moon sets, and well, the Delta Aquariids are one of the more captivating meteor showers of the year, originating from the dust left from the tail of comet 96P Machholz. This comet is responsible not only for the Delta Aquariids, but potentially other unique meteor showers like the rare daytime Aquariids. The meteors from the Delta Aquariids are distinctive, often leaving persistent trails that remain visible for minutes after the shooting star has passed. A very unique feature there. This phenomenon makes for a mesmerizing show, especially for those lucky enough to catch the trail as it fades away into the darkness. So get out and look up July 28th through the 30th. That's starting tomorrow night. Neanderthals were not hypercarnivores and feasted on maggots, according to scientists' analysis. Researchers believe humans' closest relatives may have stored meat from their kills for months before eating it, harvesting maggots off the surface, well, as a pure protein source. And this comes from data collected from nitrogen building up in living organisms. A lighter form of the element nitrogen-14 is excreted more readily than a heavier form of nitrogen-15, and as a result, heavy nitrogen builds up in organisms with each step up the food chain, from plants to herbivores to carnivores. And while the levels of heavy nitrogen in Neanderthal bones place them at the top of the food chain, they would not have been able to handle the amount of meat needed to reach those levels, according to researchers. So their conclusion was, well, based on the science, humans can only tolerate up to 4 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, whereas animals like lions can tolerate anywhere from 2 to 4 times that much protein. Since many indigenous groups around the world routinely consume maggots in putrefied meat, the researchers decided to explore the potential role. And the experiments were not for the squeamish, by the way, but they did conclude that this group of hominids, Neanderthals, were probably eating maggots more than meat. How do you like that? Eat the bugs. . DARPA sets a new record for wireless power beaming. And the results are less than spectacular. And what it means is that wireless energy transmission is decades in the future and absolutely useless. The latest effort beamed just 800 watts, 8 kilometers. That'll run your refrigerator for 12 seconds. So there's nothing groundbreaking about this new breakthrough, which is not a breakthrough at all. I think, anyway. Here's some good news. Trump's EPA proposes stripping greenhouse gases from the list of regulated pollutants. This would be groundbreaking, and I really hope it happens. The Trump administration is advancing a regulatory overhaul that could dismantle decades of climate policy by proposing to remove greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, formerly known as plant food, and methane from the list of pollutants regulated under the Clean Air Act, which is good news and bad news for the climate retards. CO2 is plant food, and we certainly need more of it. It's at the lowest levels in geologic history. And that's a boom to knowledge. Hit the thumbs up, share this video with everyone you know. Subscribe to the channel. We're trying to hit 100,000 by the end of the year, and we need your help. And be safe. We love you. And that is a boom.